Have you ever questioned why women's roles in the church and society have been so debated throughout history? This is a question that has been asked by many, and the answer often lies in the past. From the earliest civilizations, women have played significant roles in society, often as the backbone of their communities. They were the gatherers in hunter-gatherer societies, the primary caregivers of the family, and the mothers who raised the next generation. However, their roles were often overlooked or downplayed, their contributions hidden in the shadows of their male counterparts. This trend continued into the formation of the Christian Church. Despite numerous accounts of female disciples and leaders within the early church, the narrative of women's involvement has often been distorted or diminished. Take, for example, Phoebe, a deacon of the church in Centre, under the church authority, whose role was instrumental in spreading the gospel, yet her story is often overshadowed by her male contemporaries. As history progressed, the roles of women continued to evolve. In the Middle Ages, women like Hildegard of Bingen rose to prominence as influential figures of the church, using their positions to advocate for the poor and the sick. Yet their voices were often silenced, their stories left untold. Fast forward to the 19th and 20th centuries, the era of suffragettes and the women's rights movement. Women began to fight for their place in society, demanding equal rights and opportunities. The church was not immune to this change. Women started to take on more visible roles within the church, from lay leadership to ordination. Pioneers like Antoinette Brown Blackwell, the first woman ordained as a mainstream Protestant minister in the United States, paved the way for future generations of female leaders. Despite these strides, the debate over women's roles within the church and society continues today. Many question the traditional narratives and seek to redefine the role of women in the world and the church. But to truly understand the depth of this issue, we need to delve into the oldest source of Christian doctrine, the Bible. In the pages of the Bible, we find women who were prophets, leaders, and even warriors. They were not relegated to the shadows but stood out, actively participating in the shaping of their societies and faith. Let's start with Deborah, a prophetess and the only female judge mentioned in the Bible. She led the Israelites during a time of oppression, proving to be a wise, courageous, and effective leader. Through her, we see the power of a woman who is both spiritually and socially engaged. Next, we have Esther, a queen who risked her life to save her people. Esther was a woman of courage, intelligence, and beauty. But more than that, she was a woman of faith. Her story serves as a testament to the strength of character and the ability of women to influence the course of history. And then, of course, there's Mary, the mother of Jesus. Mary's faith and obedience to God's will, despite the potential social consequences, make her one of the most revered figures in the Christian faith. Her role was not passive but active, as she played a key part in God's redemption plan. These women, among many others in the Bible, were not just supporting characters in the narrative of their time. They were leaders, strategists, and influencers. They were women who, in their own unique ways, changed the course of history and left a lasting impact on their societies. Their stories are not just ancient history, but timeless examples of faith, courage, and leadership. They challenge our perceptions of what it means to be a woman of faith and what women can achieve. These biblical women set a precedent. But how does this translate to the modern-day church? As we move to the next part of our discussion, let's remember these women and the lessons they teach us about the potential and power of women in leadership. Today we see a growing number of women stepping into leadership roles within the church. It's a testament to the shifting dynamics within the faith community, a change that is both refreshing and inspiring. Across the globe, women are rising to the occasion, taking on roles as pastors, bishops, and other positions of influence. They are not just filling these roles, but excelling in them, demonstrating that leadership in the church is not exclusive to any gender. Take, for example, Reverend Canon Flora Winfield. She serves as the Anglican Communion representative to the United Nations, where she uses her faith and her voice to advocate for issues of global concern. She is a shining example of a woman who has taken her place in the church and used it to make a difference on a global scale. Another inspiring figure is Dr. Anne Lyon, the General Superintendent Emerita of the Wesleyan Church. She has spent her life dedicated to the service of others, and her leadership has left an indelible mark on the church and society. She is a beacon of hope and a role model for aspiring female Christian leaders. These leaders, however, are not without challenges. They face hurdles, from societal expectations to traditional norms within the church. Yet, they persist, they break barriers, and they lead with grace and strength. They are paving the way for future generations of female leaders in the church, showing them that their faith and their leadership capabilities are not mutually exclusive, but their influence does not stop within the walls of the church. These women are also making significant contributions to society. They are educators, philanthropists, and social justice advocates. They are using their positions to promote peace, justice, and equality, embodying the very essence of Christian values in their work. In the end, these women are not just leaders in the church, they are also making significant contributions to society. Their stories and their work are a testament to the transformative power of faith and leadership. They are the modern-day Deborahs, Esthers, and Mary, shaping the future of the church and the world. The impact of women's leadership extends far beyond the church walls. A glance at the broader societal roles of women quickly confirms this truth. Women are making strides, leading in diverse sectors such as politics, business, and education. They are not just part of the crowd, but they are setting the pace, driving change, and shaping the future. Imagine a world without the influence of women like Angela Merkel, the first female chancellor of Germany. Or consider the impact of Melinda Gates, co-founder of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, whose philanthropic efforts have transformed lives around the globe. These women, among many others, have used their leadership positions to create a ripple effect of positive change. Yet it's not just about their professional accomplishments, it's also about how they lead. Many women leaders draw from their Christian values, infusing their leadership style with principles such as love, compassion, and integrity. These aren't just abstract concepts. They are practical tools that guide decision-making, shape policies, and influence corporate cultures. Take education, for instance. Women in educational leadership roles often emphasize the importance of nurturing each student's potential, echoing the biblical principle of recognizing the intrinsic value in every individual. In the business world, women leaders often champion ethical business practices, reflecting the Christian emphasis on honesty and fairness. The sphere of politics is no exception. Female politicians who are guided by their Christian faith often prioritize policies that promote social justice, advocate for the marginalized, and foster peace. They embody the biblical call to seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. The influence of Christian women in society is undeniable. Their leadership has been instrumental in promoting equality, fostering innovation, and driving societal progress. Yet despite these strides, there's still significant gap in female representation in leadership roles. So, while we celebrate the progress made, we must also acknowledge the work ahead. The world needs more women leaders, more voices, more perspectives. The influence of Christian women in society is undeniable, but there is still much work to be done. So where does this leave us? It leads us to a crucial crossroads, not just a point of reflection, but a call to action, a call for women to step into the light of leadership within their own churches and communities. The time has come to embrace the mantle of leadership that has always been within reach, and to recognize that the strength of a church, a community, and indeed a society is directly proportional to the empowerment of its women. Just imagine the potential impact of this shift. Imagine a world where the voices of women echo from the pulpit, where the decisions of the church reflect the wisdom of its women, where the love of God is expressed through the nurturing strength of female leadership. This is not a fantasy. It is a possibility within reach, waiting for us to seize it. The stories of women from the Bible, the example of modern-day female Christian leaders, they all point towards one undeniable truth. Women have always been leaders. They have led with grace, with courage, with wisdom, and with love. And it is time for us to acknowledge this, to celebrate this, and to encourage this. This is not just about women. It's about all of us. It's about creating a more balanced, more representative, more compassionate church community and world. It is about recognizing the inherent leadership qualities within each one of us and allowing them to flourish. It is about creating spaces where everyone can thrive. But progress doesn't just happen. It is the result of concerted effort, of stepping up, of speaking out. And yes, it may be challenging. It may require courage. It may require resilience. But remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is a step towards progress. So what's the call to action? It's simple. Embrace your potential, step into your power, lead with love, be the change you wish to see. Remember, every woman has the potential to be a leader. Embrace your calling and be the change you wish to see in the church and the world.